So this lab video is going to cover the test for C-reactive protein. If you remember from lecture, C-reactive protein is a major acute phase reactant, and it's a protein that will increase in its level in the blood whenever a person is having any type of inflammation. So this test is not specific for any one disease. This test is made by the same company as the RF test that we performed today as well, Stand Bio, and it is going to use latex particles in solution for detecting C-reactive protein. This is also a passive agglutination test because the latex particles have antibody attached to them. These antibody are specific for C-reactive protein, and if the patient sample we are testing contains a high enough level of C-reactive protein, we will see agglutination of the latex particles. So I'm going to mix and add 1 drop, or roughly 40 microliters, of latex particles to a reaction circle for positive control, negative control, and a patient sample. Then I'm going to mix my positive control, add a drop to a separate area of the reaction circle, mix my negative control, add it to the negative control circle, and for my patient sample, I'm going to be using a provided dispenser from the kit to add a drop to the reaction circle. I'm then going to mix the latex particles and the sample that were added, filling up the entire area in the reaction circle. I'm going to start a 2-minute timer, and I'm going to begin to rotate the reaction card. Even if you start to see a positive reaction taking place in a sample, you have to rotate the card for the entire 2 minutes, just in case any reactions that look negative have enough time to allow cross-linking of antigen with antibody and show agglutination if they are in fact positive for C-reactive protein. You can already see in this reaction card that we're having a lot of agglutination in the positive control and patient sample. Negative control still looks negative, however, and we need to give it the entire 2 minutes for possible reactions to take place. Okay, so positive is definitely positive, patient is definitely positive, negative control is definitely negative. So just like in the video for RF testing, or rheumatoid factor, we can actually take a positive patient sample, make 2-fold serial dilution, and test that dilution for a semi-quantitative level of C-reactive protein in the sample. So I've taken a reaction card and labeled undiluted patient sample, a 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 8, and 1 to 16. I've also labeled tubes 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 8, and 1 to 16. And in this kit, we are provided with a buffer that should be used for diluting patient sample in order to perform a titer test with dilutions. So I'm going to add 40 microliters of buffer to each of my dilution tubes. And then to that 40 microliters, I need to add, in the 1 to 2 dilution tube, 40 microliters of the positive patient sample. Mix it well, and move it 40 microliters to the next tube. Mix, and so on, until I've completed all of the dilutions needed for a CRP titer. Now I can take my dispensers. I can put patient sample, in each of the reaction wells or reaction circles. And I have labeled for each circle where the sample is going to be placed. And now I'm going to add latex particles to a separate area of the circle so that I don't contaminate my latex reagent with patient sample. I'm going to mix my reagent with my sample. And start my timer. This one is not fully mixed in the circle. Okay. Whenever we're mixing reagent and patient sample, we do want to avoid bubbles. You can see that this reaction card is a different type of card, and it actually didn't work so well in avoiding bubbles for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clean pipette tip and pop the bubbles. Or attempt to. And I'm rotating my reaction card. As I'm rotating, I'm actually setting up a separate 1 to 2 because there are several bubbles, and it's going to make reading of the reaction a little more difficult. Just want to double check that one. I'm already seeing a positive reaction again in my undiluted patient sample. I'm not seeing anything in my other samples yet. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit in the 1 to 2. So very tiny agglutination, even with my bubbles there. I can see there's a little bit of agglutination in the 1 to 2. It's kind of clinging to the edges there. But nothing in the 1 to 4, 1 to 8, or 1 to 16. So the titer in this patient would be the 1 to 2 or a titer of 2. Now, if we tested this patient again several days or weeks later, we may see an increase in the amount of C-reactive protein as long as they're still in this acute inflammation stage. Don't forget to fill out your study guide for C-reactive protein using the information from your package insert.